And also, this is participation. So, is everybody awake? Yeah. Woo! Good morning. All righty. My name is Lisa Mitzel. Yeah. I'm super humbled and honored to be here, to be able to speak from a position of experience, and both as a former elite gymnast, college gymnast, and college coach, and also and especially a mental training coach. I was very lucky to be able to train with what we may refer to as pioneering sports psychologists, Dr. Keith Henshin at the University of Utah, and Dr. Ken Ravizza, who was for many years at Cal State Fullerton back in 1979. I had a very serious crash in the gym, and you guys know this, you've either experienced it or seen it many times. I opened up early in a double back. I was lost in the air. So who here was a gymnast or still does gymnastics? So you've been lost in the air, yes? Yes, Lisa, I have. And it was a freak accident. I landed on the back of my head, my knee slugged me in the head, and I was knocked unconscious. So it was confusing, scary, and all these things. And again, I had competed 2 years of what was level 10 back then, was class 1. And placed in the top 10 in the country, so I was training elite and had every reason to make elite that year. But then I developed all these psychological fears. So who here has ever had a skill and lost it? And who here has coached a kid who had a skill and 2 seconds later? Yeah, so I trained with Dr. Ken Ravizza for close to 40 hours within 3 months. So twice a week for 2 hours a day. And this is extremely intensive. When I coach athletes in mental training, typically it's once a week for an hour. If they have more intense issues and they want to make improvements faster, maybe competition season or something is pressing on them, then I might do 2 times a week for an hour, depending on what their issue is. So I have a lot of experience working with athletes. I also work very closely with coaches, and I really enjoy that because I completely understand sometimes the frustration or the confusion that we can feel when we're not sure what tools to use, how to say something, why they're having this problem. But most of all, for mental training and even visualizing, what we're going to talk about today is it's not just for athletes who have problems. This truly is to enhance their ability to be in tune with themselves and to be able to know skills intimately, part by part, position by position, so that they can go out and perform with confidence. So when a few years back, I coached a level 4 team, which I wasn't looking to do that. Somebody asked me, Lisa, would you do this? And I thought, okay, I'll just do this for 1 season. Most of the level 4s, or all of the level 4s I had, were first year. And they were very young. Average age, I think, of my group was 10. And I would integrate mental skills and the things that I'm going to share with you today, the way that I talked to them, inspired them, taught them to kind of embrace the struggles and the challenges and the pain and conditioning, and yet to also be able to come up to me when they were having a tough time, or we would take a breath together. And they were state champions that year. And then as with Stanford University, they had never made it to the national championships ever in the history of the program when I got there in 1991. And as an assistant, I was assistant coach first, and we made it the first year. We were 11th in the country, and then a few years later when I was head coach, we were 9th in the country and broke top 10. And so they didn't have any struggles or problems psychologically, like fears or setbacks, but I completely integrated it on a regular, daily basis. We did some form of mental training between turns in the practices, and they were able to enhance their knowledge of their body, their ability to interact with each other, know their role on the team, all of that relational aspect of being on a team, and then being able to handle pressure. So mental training is for all the above. So we have the screen? No? They left? Or what's?
They're getting another projector.
Oh, okay. All right. So the sheet, if you do have a handout, who here has a handout? Okay. Yeah. So the flyers that are left on the chair are for my clinics and my books. I do have books to sell, so at the very end, I'll either go to the back of the room or maybe just outside if anybody would like to buy books. And I'm here through Sunday afternoon, so again, you can follow my posts and find me or message me. And my email should be on all the handouts. If you would like to write it down, my email is HeyMitz, HeyMitz @gmail.com. I got here at 7:15 a.m. So this is, yeah, that's okay. Take a breath. Slow down, baby. So the first message that the title of the talk is Visualize, the most powerful mental tool for accuracy, consistency, and confidence. If you read sports psychology books, visualizing is reported as the most powerful, most effective mental skill. Does somebody else have a handout that I could go off of so he can work on the laptop? Thank you. Yeah, that's not. Actually, it's different. I should have printed a hard copy. I'm sorry. This is really throwing me off. Yeah. No. That's all right. I've got it too. I just didn't print this out because I thought I'd be able to stand in front of it and use it, which was silly. I should have printed it out. So what I think I go into is how to understand your athlete's emotions. So that's the first thing. That's the first warning sign for any athlete when they are uncomfortable, when they feel nervous, when they feel scared or especially panicked. Their emotions are the first warning sign for them. As coaches, we want to be in tune with them, but one of the most important things is for you to be in tune with yourself. So in my first book, Focused and on Fire, that's the blue book here, The Athlete's Guide to Mental Training and Kicking Butt, that teaches the athletes primarily about how to become self-aware, how to get calm. There's 4 steps to getting calm. I break it down because as coaches, raise your hand if you've ever said, just relax. It's not a big deal. No pressure. Yeah. How do I relax? How do I get calm? So I break it down into 4 steps. Number 1 is be still. So you're going to repeat after me. 1, be still. 2, be quiet. 3, relax my muscles to feel peaceful. My muscles to feel peaceful. And 4 is focus on right now. Very good. Focus on right now. We've got 1 person. So 4 steps. Be still, be quiet, relax my muscles, and focus on right now. One of the, yay! Hallelujah. God is good. All right. Thank you. All right. Yay! What's your name? Chase. Chase, everybody. So it's on yours. So, but can I one.
I didn't realize it was. Sorry. Sorry, I didn't realize you had videos too.
So it's one video and it's on right here. Okay. So yeah, you want to understand how to talk on their level. So in the second book, Focused and Inspired, the green one, Keeping Our Athletes Safe in a Win-at-all-cost World, this is specifically for coaches. It's also very helpful for parents. And the first chapter does definitely emphasize how to identify misconduct, verbal and emotional abuse. But the whole rest of the book, there's 7 chapters, the rest of the book is all on positive psychology, effective communication, how we can motivate in a healthy way, okay? So, and for you as coaches, becoming more self-aware. How do you get in tune with yourself? What do you want to notice? You want to notice your thoughts, okay? When a gymnast is maybe being aloof or has a little bit of an attitude. Anybody have a gymnast with an attitude? Does that say that in the dictionary, like gymnast attitude? Like, I'm kidding. They're actually quite cool kids. So I love coaching, love kids. And there have been times where I just feel like, why are they not paying attention? Why are they being rude? Why are they? And so the whole thing is that 99.9% of the time, there's some kind of fear underneath that, okay? That is one of the hardest things for us to understand when a kid is just aloof, not paying attention, doesn't follow instructions, is disruptive, is that fear is somewhere underneath that, somewhere. So we need to have connection with them, not disciplined, okay? If you do have some form of consequences, I would hope, and you learn this in Focused and Inspired, that you do the positive consequences in terms of not necessarily rewards, but how to be productive, how good you're going to feel, how we're working together well, all right? Are we almost there? Almost there. Chase is working on it. Any thoughts or questions at this point? Be brave. Say more.
What do you think about positive consequences?
Yeah, so my talk today is on slow-motion visualizing. You can get way more into it in the book. I recommend that. But so if they are as a group, you guys are all coaching groups, right? And somebody is not doing something, falling out of line, etc., then you want to complement the hard work. Find something good, okay? And remind them about, you have to be aligned with their goals. Okay, if you have a standard that's up here and they are not responding, you're not aligned. Okay? Psychologically and emotionally, they will respond when they feel. This is a feeling thing, and this is what I work on. I do the mental training in terms of the technical aspect, breathing, relaxing, positive self-talk, recall, which is to, remember a good performance. You don't want to remember the bad ones. And visualize, which is much more like imagining, okay, but it's a general term, visualizing, seeing images, and then concentration. But then the other side is the emotional side, the whole person side, who you are dealing with, how we are developing them. Okay, who are they as a person, their family, their obstacles, their doubts, their fears. And knowing that and relating to them on their level is vital for us coaches in order to do it in a healthy way. Otherwise, we're doing this because we're looking at their body, we're looking at the external, we're not looking deeper into the internal, okay? So this is a higher level of awareness, of intelligence in terms of you wanting to be psychologically and emotionally connected. Okay, here we go. So I'm working on this. Will I go to sleep?
No.
Are you gonna stay here?
I can say close by. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I will do this now. Okay, so you can see it says when we overdo physical training, and underestimate the importance. Thank you. How did you do that? Here. So you're going to stay close by, right?
Yeah, okay.
See, I'm very communicative. All right. Thank you, Chase.
We'll be just right outside the.
Thank you. I'll be sure of that. So when we overdo physical training and underestimate the importance and practice of mental training and emotional safety, we forget to develop the gymnast's inner voice and inner vision, the strongest powers of all. So who here is familiar with the term emotional safety? Raise your hand. Okay, not that many. This is one of the most important issues that we are dealing with in our sport right now. Okay? With all of the athletes coming out and talking about their experiences and how they were not treated well, and I'm just going to put it simply like that, mistreated. That is a huge and wonderful opportunity for us to learn about emotional safety. Okay, and it's very important in visualizing. Okay, it's part of visualizing. All right. So I have very high standards as a gymnastics coach and for myself, and that is a good thing. I think when you have high standards for your gymnasts, they will, in general, they will seek to want to accomplish. Okay, not every kid has a different personality, but in general, they're there because they want to learn. Now, if your standards are over the top, way too high, obviously we need to find the balance, right? But I say here, when I coach in the gym, my gymnasts train hard. I speak to them with respect. I believe they are intelligent. And when I say that, I mean intelligent about themselves. They know when they feel uncomfortable. They may not be able to articulate it, and they certainly will be intimidated to tell a coach most of the time. But they know that feeling when they're comfortable, uncomfortable, when they're happy, when they're sad, what their favorite foods are, their friends. You know, they have a lot of intelligence, and we need to keep nurturing that and telling them you are smart. I say that all the time to especially the young athletes. Okay? I thrive on positive partnerships. That's one major part, focused and inspired, is how to create positive partnerships. And that is essential for us as coaches, teaching them and practicing with them, maybe in little increments of time, how to visualize, okay? Is partnering with them. I am committed to develop each gymnast as a healthy person first, and then successful comes. Okay, so it's on the screen. Chase! Mommy! I didn't visualize all this. I did visualize all your happy faces.
Your visualization worked. He's right here.
Look at it, see? It's just your physical presence. Prepare gymnasts for the hard work. This is something that we kind of assume in some ways, and I mean this just in general, is that because we're the coach, we're the adult, we walk in and we just assume they're going to listen to us. We are the teacher, we are the coach. No, you don't. What do you assume?
I assume they're kids.
And
Kids don't necessarily listen. You have to keep them busy.
that's what I mean. You have to keep them busy. It's your responsibility.
Yeah.
So we see ourselves as the authority.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So what
They're not necessarily going to pay attention to you all the time.
Right. So on that note, thank you God for this challenge. What I encourage and what I teach is truly how to partner with them and describe to them, just like you would talk to another adult or another coach, this is what we're going to do, this is what it's going to look like, smell like, taste like. in terms of a hard practice especially, okay? So that they can, at least intellectually, start to process, okay, I'm gonna work hard, and then you say, if I can keep seeing the screen here. So here's the assignment, and I'm saying this very briefly right now, and this is just for the presentation. This will be challenging, your muscles will cramp. I am here to help you, and I believe in you. So I just mentioned my level 4s, they're so darn cute. And I said, do you see those big girls over there and across the gym? There were level 10s and they're doing takachas and huge skills, right? And I said, they work very hard, and they're like big eyes, yes, they work very hard. And I said, you're gonna work just as hard. And they're like, I said, that's because you're going to get stronger, and I'm going to help you get better. Who here wants to get stronger? And they all raise their hand. Who here wants to get better? And they all raise their hand. So we are aligning on values and goals. They value wanting to feel strong and be strong. They value wanting to make improvement, okay? And I say, this is gonna hurt. Go as hard as you can, and then if you have to stop, you can stop. If you start to cry, that's all right. And then I say, but you're going to get stronger, and you're gonna say, thank you, Coach Lisa, that's just what I wanted. And that's what we do, and then we all start clapping. So it's really deciding together that we're all gonna work hard, and we're all gonna embrace the struggle, and I'm gonna still have compassion and empathy, and I'm gonna nurture them all the way through it, okay? So slow-motion visualizing is a superpower. What to practice when using mental skills. So I talked about human connection, person-centered approach, integrate fun, positive messages, daily goals, embrace the struggles. Bravery comes from vulnerability, and be patient and trust the process. So in mental training, one of the hardest things when the gymnasts are experiencing fears of, for instance, going backwards, hitting their feet over on a giant, landing on their head, anything like that, is that I tell them, I truly believe that we're gonna get through this and you are gonna reach your goals. We need to trust the process. So I wonder, on a regular basis, especially when you're feeling frustrated, are you trusting the process? Are you, as a young coach, middle year experience, or even 20 years, are you truly, when they're frustrated, when they're aloof, when just the influence, the positivity, the structure, the excitement of learning a new skill, that all of that is surrounding every single child, okay? So trust that process instead of feeling that you have to control, okay? Once you start trying to control a situation and there's resistance, then you're not getting the flow, you're not getting the connection, you're getting disconnection, okay? Gymnasts have essential psychological needs. So this, again, is emphasized in Focused and Inspired. I talk about emotional and psychological needs, that these are essential. And so we want to be able to learn about that. Part of that is to have fun, and feeling powerful is fun. So I don't know if you could see it, but on her right arm, maybe looking at it, it's her left, it says, I am strong. So in my clinics, hopefully nobody gets upset, but I tell the kids they can write on their body. So one of the most fun things is maybe secretly, like on their tummy, kick butt or something like that, or I am calm. They also need to feel in control. So the two things that athletes tell me all the time is that they want to feel more confident and in control. I worked with this young lady for many months. It says she has a sign that says, I go at my own pace. And notice how big the I is. I go at my own pace. She has a few coaches. One of them, I know this gym, I know the owners. One of the coaches is quite strict. And a lot of kids are, afraid. So, so she is learning, okay, we're all learning, but she is learning how to be in tune with her thoughts and emotions, and then how to be authentic and be able to communicate with the coach. And the coaches know me. I've given coaches clinics there, so they get it to a certain degree. But it says visualizing, go at their own pace, especially in slow motion, helps gymnasts to feel in control and master skills. So she was going to quit. She was level 8, and she's now going level 9. She could not back tumble at all. She would balk every time, and she was going to quit. And now she's doing double pikes, round-off flip-flop double pikes, and that was just in the last year. So she's doing awesome. And it's been a long process, emotional awareness is the key to getting calm, to focus, and to visualize success. Teach emotional intelligence. So the first part of emotional intelligence is awareness, being aware of your emotions, okay? And then the intelligence part is being able to manage them, and also to be able to know and help somebody else with their emotions.
Can you roll that down?
The other way.
There you go.
Okay, any thoughts or questions at this point? We're gonna do some exercises.
How do you get a kid's pinpoint why they're afraid of
Say it again.
How do you get a child to like pinpoint? I don't know if they're not honest with me, but I constantly like worry I'm afraid of trying to get something to prove it. And they don't get it specific. It is constantly like,
Yeah.
oh, is it missing your hands? Is it missing this? And I can't get her guiding as much as I can, but I
Yes.
can't get her to really pinpoint what it is so I can work on that.
And how old is she?
She's not.
And when you were 9, could you pinpoint exactly what? No.
But a lot of kids I do finally get to that point, but it's been like months now that I still
Yeah.
can't get her to
Yeah.
follow along as much as.
So I'm working with an 11-year-old Hope's elite gymnast right now. Just this week and next week, I'm working with gymnasts in 8 different states. So a lot of my work is on using FaceTime, and I also will work with parent gymnast pairs, and they do exercises together. And the parent reads focused and inspired, and the gymnast reads focused and on fire. Or they may sit down if the gymnast is young and is not a big reader, which I understand, I was not a big reader when I was a kid. Then they might together just read a short section. But she is not able to pinpoint things, and she's doing, crazy skills. She's doing Yurchenko full, she's doing 2.5 twist on floor, she can do a triple, so she can't even pinpoint things. So my point is that the kids are not able at that age, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, even 12 and 13 sometimes, because we have not taught them the minutia, and that's what you're going to learn a little bit of today, okay, is how to be in tune in slow motion with positions, okay, the order of the positions, position 1, position 2. So if you can see if you do have a sheet, and I'm going to scroll here, you can see this illustration. So I'm also, just for fun, I'm also the illustrator. So, yay me. She's just doing a handstand step down, okay? Do I have somebody in here who would like to do a handstand step down today? Like that? You're excused, sweetheart. Okay, come on up. Yay! What's your name? Jacob! Our hero. Yeah, you can flip your flip flops off. So I'll come down there. I'm going to spot you. And what we're going to focus on, what time? So what we're going to focus on is the slowness of it. 99% of the time, I do this exercise in clinics or I do it with an individual gymnast, and they always go faster than I ask them to. And that's okay. It's a learning process. But it's hard. This is hard. This is hard in gymnastics to slow down. Because, you were saying saying keep them busy. That was came out of your mouth. So we're all about the physical, the physical, the physical. Okay, keep them in line, keep them busy. You know, stations, set them up. The parents are watching. They're paying their money. Everybody's happy, right? But when it comes to truly knowing the skill by parts, you learn the proper biomechanics of it. You learn to be able to communicate better with your coach and articulate the positions. You learn how the accuracy of the positions, and you are able to be much more confident in recalling, doing mental repetitions in order to deal with pressure, because it allows you, it helps you to focus, okay? We are human beings with sight. For most of us, we have sight, and we are easily distracted by everything else around us. So we need to zoom in their focus, and we need to teach them to get calm and give them the positions and the technique that we want them, little tiny pieces, okay? So everybody right now, we're gonna take a deep breath. 1, 2, 3, inhale, and exhale. I'll say, I am calm.
I am calm.
Okay, again, inhale, and exhale. I am relaxed. One more time, bigger. Inhale, and exhale. I slow down. Amen. Okay. Do you guys see my little Buddha? All right. And this is Athena. She's here because we think of owls as being wise, right? You guys know that. All right. So see where it says 2 seconds, 2 seconds, 2 seconds. Yeah, come on now. Jacob, right?
Yeah, straight.
Jake. Nice to meet you. Awesome. Where are you from?
Omaha, Nebraska.
Omaha, Nebraska.
Croatian.
Okay, so what I teach them to do is to notice. I use this word notice, or I might say pay attention, but I think the word notice is a little bit more gentle and friendly, because they're going to be thinking a lot, all right? So, Jake, put your arms up. Okay, now you're going to notice how far your arms are, the space between your ears and your arms. You're going to notice if your arms are straight up, slightly out, or way out. You're going to notice exactly the angle. You're going to notice your fingers and thumbs. A lot of kids will put their thumbs forward, sideways, back. They might twist them all the way out. So I just say, just notice, okay? Notice, you're going to look forward. I know you like to look at me, okay? I'm so funny. Okay, put your chin, just notice your chin, all right? Sometimes they stare down, so just notice, okay? And he's on his left foot. So I articulate this, I verbalize it, I'm out loud. You're on your left foot, you can feel the weight between your heel and your toe. You've got your right leg out straight, it's even slightly turned out and pointed, okay? Now, this is position 1. He's going to notice what he sees out of his eyes and what he feels in his body position. Okay? 1, take a breath. I say that 1,000 times a day. 1, 2. Now, position 2 is a lever. Okay? Yes, perfect. Okay? Again, notice where your hands are out in space. Notice your chin. Notice your back leg all the way out. Know exactly where this back foot is in the air. 1, 2. And go up to handstand with feet together. Kick a little harder. Okay, very good. Yeah, if they don't hit the position right away, no big deal. They just need to find the position. Okay, he's going to notice feeling his heels and his toes touching. He's going to notice the squeeze in his quads. He's going to notice the squeeze in his torso. He's going to notice the weight equally on his hands and his fingers spread out. He sees the carpet and his fingers. Okay, 1, 2, click. Your brain is taking a mental picture. And then he's going to do a split. Okay, good. Oh, look at that tattoo. Okay. Okay, he's going to notice exactly where this back foot is in the air and exactly where this front foot is. Okay, and the angle of his split. All right, 1, 2, and then he's going to go back to the lever. Sometimes they wobble. Just find it. Okay, again, 1, 2, and finish. Hold. 1, 1, 2. Okay, so that was learning it. So then after you do that with each kid, and again, this is going upside down. If they're like level 3s, you can maybe just do a dance position, maybe just a scale, all right? You could just do simple, a hollow body position if you're working on shaping. You can do a simple position and be able to say, okay, now stand up, close your eyes, can you see it? Can you feel it? And then they say yes. We need to train their brain to go inward and to be able to see and feel in their mind, okay? This takes many repetitions, many repetitions. Okay, you're gonna do it again. Oh, you're not thanked yet. Okay.
My bad.
Okay, so now I'm gonna, oh, go ahead.
So when they are doing the visualization, you want them to do the skills and in each piece say visual here? Or just?
We go back and forth. So this is when you're introducing it especially, and then they can do it on their own. You can give reminders. I was at a Region 5 training camp last week. You're so awesome, stay here. And one of the coaches thought it was a really nice tip that after a kid did a very good clear hip on bars, that was like one of their really good turns. Okay, now there's 6 other kids in line, just step to the side, take a breath, close your eyes, and repeat that 3 times in your mind, just what you did. Do you know that the brain doesn't know the difference? If you visualize vividly, your brain doesn't know the difference from doing a physical turn or a mental turn. So if you repeat that 3 times clearly in your mind, you just did 4 repetitions, okay? And that's extremely helpful, this whole visualizing when they're on vacation, when they're sick, when they're injured, when they're waiting around for a turn, all kinds of things when they're not actively doing their skills. Okay, so I'm gonna talk less. Take a breath. And position 1, 1, 2. Position 2, notice what you see and what you feel. 1, 2. And all the way up. Notice what you feel. He's probably done thousands of these, so he has to pay close attention. 1, 2, and split. Notice that back leg. 1, 2, and down. Notice the balance, back leg, fingers. 1, 2, finish. 1, 2. Okay, now, could you please stand here, take a breath, close your eyes, and recall very slowly the same positions. And position 1, 1, 2. Position 2, lever, 1, 2. Handstand, 1, 2. Split, 1, 2. Lever, 1, 2. Finish. He opened his eyes.
I did right at it.
Did you go?
Finished a little earlier.
Yeah. You See, slow down, baby. All right, you're awesome. Were you able to see it?
Yes.
Yes.
That worked very well. Thank you.
Yes. So thank you. So one of the things we also find with every gymnast is that when I'm working with them, after they do it 2 times in their mind, after they do it 3 times in their mind, they say, oh, I can see it more clearly. And those are my glasses. Thank you, babe doll. Everybody's a sweetie, by the way. They say, yeah, I can see it much better. And they start to actually recognize how powerful this slow motion visualizing is. We can do this with any skill, on any event, in any sport, okay? This is so powerful. Any thoughts or questions right now?
What age would you start to?
Okay, so when my son, I have 3 kids, boy, girl, boy, almost 25, 21, and almost 19. When my younger son was 3, I was a single mom when they were 2, 5, and 8 years old. And so I really believed in having a calm, loving, safe environment for them to be in, going to 2 different households. And so we talked about at bedtime imagining having a warm tummy and that the sun, the warm sun in the sky, you could bring that sun inside your belly and close your eyes and feel warm. You can start as young as 3. These are just very simple images, sensations, okay? When we appeal to the 5 senses, all right? See, hear, smell, taste, touch. I do that with the kids with my hands. See, hear, smell, taste, touch. When we appeal to them that way and we relate to them that way, that's their experience in the world, is what they see and hear and smell and taste and touch, okay? For level 3s and 4s, I definitely start them out. For rec kids, you can make it super fun. Any rec coaches here? Yeah. Yes. Make it fun. And I imagine superheroes and characters. I have a story, somebody emailed me a couple years ago. I was going to speak at the University of Denver to their gymnastics team. And one of the moms, out of the blue, she emailed me and she said, Lisa, my name is such and such, you and I competed together. And so this is like 40 years ago. And she goes, and my daughter is so excited that you're coming because I've told her stories about you. I was like, that was 40 years ago. Why is she telling stories about me? And then she recalled one specific story. So I was stronger on beam and floor, vault. I'm very tall for a gymnast. I had to get a lot of power. So she says, you were on vault. We were on vault together. You raised your hand to the judge. And then you stood there and out loud you said, there's a tiger inside me. And then you ran down the vault runway, you did a pike soup, and you nailed it cold. And I was 13. I was like, that sounds like me. So that is fun. And the power of their imagination in the rec ages is much more powerful, because once we get to teen, we start getting what? Too serious. More serious, okay? And we start becoming task-oriented. So we need to use their imagination, right? So what to visualize, I give you a list there. Building up to the location, okay, of a competition, 5 minutes, thank you. Yeah, there's something called the internet. So when you're going to an away meet, if there's even the outside of the gym, the outside of the building, dude, print out a picture. This is where I'm going. The more that you help them become familiar and acclimate to where they're going, you know, if you know that there's a Bob's Big Boy, I don't know if you guys go there, that's where you're gonna go eat breakfast, you know, whatever. The more that they know, that's all in Focused and On Fire for mental training, and I would highly recommend if this interests you. I've had teams, Mary Lee Tracy at Cincinnati Gymnastics, she bought probably 10 copies and their whole staff read a chapter at a time. And so she's educating her staff as well as having group sessions, mental training sessions with the kids. So that helps a lot. How many times do you visualize? 5 to 10 repetitions a day, every day, in between turns, at the end of practice, and especially, it says when and where, anywhere, but especially at night. So you might want to gently suggest that. What did you think about before you went to sleep last night? Did you imagine, you know, hitting that handstand? Did you imagine making that cartwheel on high beam with a smile? Always include emotions with the visualizing. So Jake was, you know, he's an adult, we're down business, I'm doing, you know, a talk here. But when you're with your athletes, they know what it feels like to be determined. They know the celebration when they make something, you know, that goes really well. So you can say, remember to feel that excitement. Remember to feel that calm and that focus. Okay, so you want to include the emotion. So I do have an online course I mentioned for those of you who are already here coming up. It's going to go live in the next couple of weeks. This is Coach Education. The course is called Positive Psychology, Communication, and Athlete Safety. Who has the email list sign up? Anybody have? It's in the back. So if you guys could bring it to the front, and anybody who wants to come and sign up, you can get my e-newsletter, you can get the announcement for the education. Final thoughts or questions? I feel like we kind of have to dash through it a little bit due to the technology.
Could you do the first slide again?
The first slide.
Sorry, that's my other question. A little lower. Okay, thank you. Just leave it there.
Yeah. Anybody else? Question?
For like visualizing more than a handstand, like multiple flips, what kind of physical steps do you do for that?
Honestly, I don't care if it's an elite kid, and actually the 11-year-old that I mentioned, who's a Hope's Elite, she's coming to she lives in Louisiana. She's flying out to California. Let me show you this video also. I teach them the basics first. You must go slowly. You cannot start with combinations, and you certainly can't start with twisting, okay? So it's a progression, just like physically. We teach them slowly and progressing through the skills. So I would say, you know, you want to do at least 5 to 10 repetitions a day, at least, you know, depending on their level. You know, whether it's 3 days a week because they train 3 days a week, 5 days a week because they train 5 days a week. I kind of match it up with that. Never, ever is this an expectation. Never is this a job. They do not have to do it. Mental training is because they want to do it, because it feels good and it helps them feel and become much more confident, okay? So this is one of the little girls that I worked with. I've posted several times on my Facebook page about this, so I encourage you, because that's another place where I post little articles and stuff. Lisa Mitzel, I'm easy to find, I'll friend you. Just send me a direct message so I don't think you're somebody I don't feel comfortable with. I'm a safety girl. And she's from Texas. Anybody here Texas? Yay. And she's just qualified to TOPS national testing. Just 7 months ago, she could not do a back walkover on low beam. And now she's doing double back handsprings to a back tuck dismount off high beam. Okay, so she's gonna do something called fixating. When they are super scared, you need to be able to put them just in a position and have them hold it for 2 counts and then move back out of it. She's not doing a complete back walkover here. I'm spotting and holding her. Chase! I don't want to hit the wrong button. Hello! Hi, Elizabeth. I don't know how to hit play on here. This is not my computer.
Press the space.
Oh, positions that are preparing her.
I'm ready. It's going.
All right, we're going to do 2 positions that are preparing her and then also going into the beginning of the back walkover, which is our reach position. And we are practicing holding these positions in order for her mind to fixate on safe positions and the reach where she's about to touch the knee. Okay, here we go. So first, a mental routine. She takes a deep breath.
She's 8 years old.
I see and feel each position. And then she does the prepare. We hold 1, 2, and then we go into the reach. And we hold, and she's seeing the beam. 1, 2, and she comes back. And this is to teach her to fixate the mind on the image of her hands and the beam, and right about to touch the beam and going into the back walkover safely. Okay, so that's one of the greatest things about the mind, is that when we have a gymnast that is so fearful of actually going backwards, they can do a very safe position while you're holding them, and then their mind they can see and feel the position, and they can fixate on that position, all right? That allows them a stronger sense of body knowledge, awareness, being connected to the apparatus, at least on that 1 foot, okay? And also it can highly greatly increases their sense of safety, okay? But they need to be able to go through these very basic safe positions in slow motion, and then she recalls it. She stands there and she repeats that same thing. She takes a breath, she repeats a phrase. I think she says, I focus on each position, and then she prepares, and then she goes. Any further thoughts or questions? Okay, you guys are awesome! Thank you very much. Please reach out anytime, and I have books. I'll go to the back of the room for anybody, and I'm here till